Well, today's first impressions is of my favourite aircraft of all time, the Fairey Delta II. Can't wait to get stuck into this one. Hello and welcome to Model Kit Stuff, and welcome to today's first impressions, which is looking at this, the Fairey Delta II from Dora Wings in 1:72 scale, kit number DW72009. This is a new tool and it's long overdue. We had a Fairey Delta II from FOG many years ago that's been re-released under different brands over the years, and it's not up to much, but this is going to be a joy, I'm sure of it. Let's start with some history, shall we? Now, usually I don't give much history about aircraft because I don't really know much about aircraft, but I happen to know a bit about this one. Why? Well, I used to work at the what was part of the Fairey Aviation series of plants in Heaton Chapel in Stockport, company called Williams Fairey Engineering. In my time there, they made military bridges, but they had a picture of this and everyone knew about it, and it got me really interested, and it's a great looking aircraft. But the Fairey Delta II was actually the last aircraft designed by Fairey Aviation before it hit troubles, got broke up into different companies and so on. And it was a specific design to try certain avionic experiments, so transonic and supersonic flight speeds. So it was deliberately built to be fast, and what they were trying out was how this aircraft would perform, and that ultimately was going to lead to the very famous aircraft Concorde. So we have a drop nose, we have a delta wing, all of that information they got from this aircraft helped them design Concorde. And for nearly 2 years, in 1954 or no, 1956 it was, I beg your pardon, 1956, she took the airspeed record at level flight by over 300 miles an hour faster than any other aircraft, and she held that record for nearly 2 years. So she was a really state-of-the-art, world-leading aircraft at the time, in a time when British aviation was up there amongst the very best and leading with those technological abilities. So there you go, there's a bit of history. I think there was only ever 2 built, and there's 1 in existence in a museum. Now, previously, when I've reviewed Dora Wings kits, I've been a little bit disappointed, so I'm hoping this one's going to be a little bit better. And when I say disappointed, it's been with the instructions, notably that there's no paint instructions. So we will see how we get on. So as we look at the box, we've got a beautiful bit of artwork, and actually they've made the aircraft glossy on a matte background, which is really nice. And it tells us that the model length is 219 millimeters and the wingspan is 114 millimeters. So on the side of our box, it tells us that it's made in Ukraine. It gives us a few other of their kits. The ends pretty much tell you the same as what's on the front of the box, but they're for stacking in different ways, which is cool. And then on this side, we've got an image in a different colour, and tells us that it's 14 plus, and that the model length is 290 millimeters, wingspan 114, 65 plastic parts, 6 photo etch parts, paint and glue not included. Now, the box is stapled, which is a little bit unusual. Whether that's something to do with the war situation, I don't know. Let's remove the lid, and we've got our instruction book, a bag with the decals in, the photo etch, and some masks, and then our plastic parts, and the clear ones in a separate bag. Excellent. Let's have a look at our instructions. So we've got A5, I'm guessing, stapled instruction manual. It's got a nice colour finish to the top. This is definitely a bit of an upgrade on the last Dora Wings instruction manuals I looked at. And we've got the box art again. It does look really nice, that box art, I've got to say. And then when we open up, we've got the parts of the model. So we've got a sprue map here. The sprue numbers are on there, but they are so small they're barely legible. But we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 plastic sprues, a clear sprue, masking set, photo etch, and quite a few decals. It suggests to me that we've got multiple paint options there. Let's have a look. So, assembly instructions. Right, there is no key for this at this moment in time. So, yeah, we will muddle through. So we're starting with the dials, and we've got, is that decal? 23, right, so number in a box is a decal. Then we've got A, what's that? The red number is clearly the part number, E18, E15. A, G, that must be paint instructions. Right, let's have a look, see if we can find paint instructions, maybe on the back page. Oh, well, we do have paint schemes, so that's something I've not seen before with Dora, so that's great. Here we go. Oh, okay. So we've got symbols here at the back of the instructions. So get familiar with those. And then we've got our colour table, they're calling it. So a number of colours there with Mr. Hobby, Tamiya, it says Ammo MIG, but it's MIG Ammo, I think. Hataka and Life Colour. Both Life Colour, Hataka, Tamiya, which is often the case, have got colours that don't match, whereas MIG Ammo and Mr. Hobby seem to cover off everything. Then at the bottom here we've got Aircraft Blue and Violet, where they've got a British Standard colour, but not giving you anybody on the colour table, so probably you've got to mix that colour. Okay, interesting, but we now understand what everything means, and we've got paint instructions as we go. Fantastic. This is much better than the last Dora Wings that I reviewed. Excellent. Right, step 2, building up the pilot seat. We've got harnesses, which are they? Yeah, they're decals. Okay, cool. I don't have a problem with them. At least we've got them. Then we've got the seat being put into the floor pan. We've got the flight stick there. The dials going in, plus 2 bulkheads, so that builds up our cockpit, and then that's going into our nose, and it looks like we've got inside detail on the nose, so we'll have a look at that. Okay, so carrying on with the nose, we've got photo etch being put into here, and that looks like the canopy going on there, and some form of antenna and more stuff underneath, antenna and stuff going underneath. So that's a lot of delicate stuff you're putting on before you've attached it to the main fuselage. Right, then we've got A1. I'm not sure what that is, but that suggests to me that you're looking at a section of the fuselage, possibly. Yeah, see, look, 7, 7, so that's subassembly 7, so it is the fuselage half. So that's the air scoop inside of the air intakes for the engines there. Cool. So we're doing that on both sides. Then we're building up the engine. We've got the little fan there. We've got the landing gear strut being made. This will be for the nose wheel. And yeah, then we've got the wheels going on. So engine going in. We've got a piece going in which is going to be the wing spar. So that's separate. That's cool. And what looks like the landing gear bay for the nose wheel there. Okay, no mention of any weight at this stage. Just a bit worried this might be a tail sitter with that sat at the back. Right, then we're building up the wings, both sides. Looks like we've got lots of nice landing gear detail. The flaps are clearly not positional. We can see there's pegs there and what looks like a biscuit fitting on the end ones, and then of course you've got something joining them, so I think they're just going to be fixed. Then we're fixing the wings in. Then in step 18 we're adding the nose, and we have options here for the position, so flight position, takeoff position. Yeah, so really cool. And it looks like the whole cockpit pivots, not just the nose. I'm fairly sure on Concorde it was just the nose, wasn't it? But looks like the whole cockpit's pivoting on that, so that's really interesting. And we've got some photo etch going on there. Then we're flipping her over, landing gears going in, plus landing gear doors. Quite a few parts in there. Excellent. Right, and that's it. So 19 steps and we are built. Then we've got paint instructions. So this one says the Fairey Delta 2 WG774 March 1956 world airspeed record 1,132 miles per hour, pilot Lieutenant Commander Peter Twiss. So that's silver, so it's all metal, plus these decals here. We've got a black area in front of the cockpit there, and then these yellow decals going on. So I think that's quite cool, and that's likely to be the one I do, because you know it's that airspeed record moment. Then we've got another one that's very similar. It says September 1955, so that's as built, I guess, when they were just doing tests and things. Then we've got another 2 paint schemes, so you've got 4 paint schemes in total, so that's fab. The Fairey Delta 2, same WG777, right, so that's a different aircraft. So I did say there was 2 built. RAF Museum, Cosford, Shropshire, UK. So that's probably how she is now. So in overall blue. So that's that violet that they talk about here. So that's a nice scheme with the little white flashes on it, but gotta be honest, I prefer the airspeed record. And then we've got one, this is WG774 again, the Fairey Delta 2 SBAC show Farnborough, September 1958. So she got painted in all over, violet, not aircraft blue. That's aircraft blue, sorry. Yeah, so violet. So it's basically the same as that, but red and yellow instead of blue and white. Still prefer the airspeed record one. Okay, there we go. That is the instructions. Let's have a look at the decals next. So our bag, little Ziploc bag that's got our decals in, has some other bits and pieces in as well. So we'll take a look at all of them. So we've got a piece of card that says Dora wings. That's interesting. We've got our photo etch. Pleased to say it doesn't have that silly tape all over it, so there's no film on it. So we've got the 2 bits that we saw going on the wing, and then the 4 bits that we saw going on the nose there. Yep, nothing wrong with that. That's all good. So I'll pop that back in the bag. We've got a set of masks, vinyl masks, I'm pleased to say. I much prefer vinyl masks. For the cockpit, they all look good. No issues with that. And then we've got the decals. So we've got some extra ones that are separate. So let's see. So these are Tachograph, which are a Ukrainian company used by people like ICM. Mini-Art as well, although most recent Mini-Art kit I reviewed, they were Cartograph. So they might have made a change. So what we've got the decals for the nose, the yellow ones there. We've got all the national markings. We've got some stencils. We appear to have 2 sets of dials, 23 twice, and 2 sets of tail markings, which I find that a bit strange because surely the tail markings are the same on the different schemes. I can't noticeably see a difference. We've got the harnesses there, which look nice, and then we've got a lovely little decal here, which I didn't see, but it says Fairey Delta 2 World Speed Record 1,132 miles per hour. So that's a nice little decal. We can shove that on the display stand. That's nice. Then I hadn't appreciated that the black in front of the windscreen is actually a decal. So that's pretty cool as well. And then we've got all the other various little markings, 1 or 2 stencils and bits and pieces. They don't look too bad. There's a bit of excess film, decal film around them, but it's not excessively excessive, if that makes any sense at all. Yeah, so they've trimmed it at the ends, but you've got big areas to cover in between. So some people might want to cut them out a little bit. But yeah, if you're putting it on the silver plate, a bit of paint and stuff, I think that'll just help you space it out accurately. So all good, really. Yeah, very nice. So why we've quite got these extra ones, I don't know. But we have. Anyway, I'll take a quick photo of that and then we can look at the plastic parts. So, sprue A, and we've got a fuselage half, a nose half, an engine half, what looks like the openings for the inside of the air intakes there. Not sure, I guess that's tail section. It's nicely done, but all of these have been in a bag, but this was on the top. And yet I do have some damage, so it's been a little bit mistreated in the factory before it's been put into the bag, because I can see some scuffing on the surface. It's not really going to be noticeable. There's a little bit of flash on the back end there, but again, nothing major. And when we look inside, it's nice and crisp. The panel lines are nicely done. There's no rivet or fastener detail, but at this scale, that's fine. Yeah, and I've got some scuffing again along the nose there. Yeah, strange as it was in the top of the bag, so yeah. And then we've got this very, very long, thin bit of nose there. That'll be interesting. But yeah, the detail that we've got is nice and crisp. There's no sink or issues like that. And we've got a little bit of detail, some electrical boxes of some type, switches and dials, and some wiring, so that will look nice, painted up and given a wash. Yeah, nothing wrong with that. I'll go through all the sprues because there's not many, and then we'll take some photos at the end before I round up. So that gets me onto sprue B, which is pretty much the same as we've just seen, only we don't have the nose spike on this side. Yeah, no real issues with that either. Sprue C, and we've got our wing halves. Again, they look nicely detailed in terms of panel lines, and again we've got quite a bit of scuffing and scratching on the surface, so clearly these are being stacked in the factory and they're sort of lying on top of each other, and they're not being treated perhaps with the care that we would like. I can see fingerprints on them and things like that. When I flip it around, we've got really nice detail on the inside of the gear bays. So yeah, all looks really nice. Just trying to work out whether we've got, I think we've got a mould seam there that needs tidying up, but I'm not 100% sure, so just double check that it is before you remove it. I think it could also be the outside skin they're trying to show. Anyway, all looks very nice. Yeah, and that's the complete wing, so you get an idea of the size of it. Yeah, nothing wrong with that. Sprue D, and we've got the cockpit floor here with all the little switches and dials on, which looks very nice. We've got the wheels, which have got really amazing detail on them. You've got the brake housings and stuff on there, it's lovely. We've got the engine drum, the sides to the seat. These will be gear bay doors, which again have nice detail, and I think that's the wing spar that we saw. And I think that must be air intakes, I'm guessing. And then parts for the wings, they look like they might have a bit of sinking, but they're supposed to be smooth, so that's not an issue. And then we've got these flaps which just plug in. There's a bit of seam cleanup, but nothing else, and they're solid without any issues. So yeah, very nice. Very, very, very nice. And that gets us to our last grey plastic sprue, E. And this has got all the little small parts on it, some exterior parts, some interior parts as well. We've got our landing gear struts and bits. They look quite nice as well. Our main wheels are complete, solid, but they do have sidewall writing on the tyres, which is nice. And then we've got this. I can't remember, is that part of the cockpit? Not sure. Our more strut bits and our flight stick, aerials and bits and pieces. So all the little tiny bits on here. Yeah, very, very nice. I think that's our nose joint piece as well. Okay, so that just leaves us our clear parts, and the clear parts come in their own little Ziploc bag. So we've got two pieces to that. There is not much in the way of glazing on this aircraft, to be honest. So we've got two very nice clear parts, but they are, you can see a sort of rippling in them as you look at them in the light, but most of that gets painted, and the bits that you're going to look through are actually not bad at all. There is a bit of distortion. You can see the line isn't straight, it's sort of wiggly, so they're not the best I've seen. And they're a little bit chunky actually when you look at the thickness of the plastic. And the front windshield, which is a split windshield, quite typical for 50s aircraft, is nicely done. It'd be easy to paint that, but we've got the masks anyway. Yeah, no issues with that at all. Yeah, that'll look fine. When it's on, you'll be able to see through that clearly. Yeah, very nice. Right, I'll take some photos and then we can round up. So there we have it, the Fairey Delta II from Dora Wings in 1:72 scale. What's my first impressions? Well, I was really excited when I saw this kit come out because I've wanted to build a really good Delta II for many, many years. And I have to say, the kit has not let me down. Yeah, we've come across one or two issues, but they're, in the grand scheme of things, they're very, very minor. So let's start with the instructions. They're clear. They get you from A to B nicely. They give you paint call-outs as you go. Once you've got yourself familiar with the key, you shouldn't have any issues. They're easy to manage, not great big. It's a nice manageable book size. Yeah, can't fault them. You've got several different options for paint manufacturer on there, and you've got 4 paint schemes and decals. So can't fault the paint instructions either. So things that I've said needed to be improved by Dora Wings have improved. So that's perfect. The plastic parts for the scale, nicely detailed. They're going to show off the Fairey Delta to its very best, I think. They look smart, they look really nice. They're crisp. There was no real issues, a little bit of heavy seam borderline flash in places, but very little of that really. We might have possibly seen some sink, but possibly not. It might just have been a trick of the light. Nothing broken, nothing irreparable. Those scuffs, you can easily polish them out. So yeah, I think a very nice job. The fact that they've chucked some photo etch at it for these little bits here, just to add some finesse that they couldn't have moulded to scale, I think is a lovely touch as well. And we've got seat harnesses on the decals, and of course we've got masks, and not just any old masks. We've got good, decent vinyl masks. So yeah, all in all, really, really pleased with all of that. I can't think of anything to say needs improving, other than the obvious thing that needs improving is its 172 scale, and I really like it in 148, please. But yeah, 172 scale, Delta 2, what is not to like? It's a bit of aviation history, and I think everyone should have one on their display shelf. So yeah, I think it's a beautiful kit, and I am really looking forward to building it. I will be building it this year because I've been wanting to build it for so long, so I'm quite excited about that. We'll be squeezing that in as an aircraft build at some point during 2024, I have no doubt. So there you have it. You now know what you get in the box. It's in the shops now. I noticed that where I got this from on pre-order has already sold out, and quite right too, because it's such a great iconic aircraft. Okay, thanks for looking in. You enjoy your modelling, and I will see you very soon with yet another First Impressions. Bye for now.